Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for March the 23rd through the 28th, 2021, and March the 30th, 2020. Apparently I skipped over a day last year. See, I don't like that, okay? I don't like making mistakes, especially on a series like Comment of the Week. I don't like that, okay? You know why, though, I make these mistakes? Well, number one, I don't really spend that much time on YouTube every single day, which is good for my life outside of YouTube. I recommend it. To a lot of you that don't have a life outside of YouTube, I recommend getting a life outside of YouTube. Also, I would take many requests for uploads. You know, it's a very, very busy time. March, specifically, of last year, I noticed a lot of uploads in that time period. So going forward, I will focus primarily on Comment of the Week. I consider this to be the linchpin of the channel. Okay? The three honorable mentions come to us from Jesus, Destroyer of Heroes, and Mr. Self-Improvement. The bronze medal comes to us from Martyville. Pride, I think, depends. Lucifer's pride made him believe he could challenge God. You know, the guy who created everything, then got utterly humiliated by a single archangel. You could say Hancock is too prideful to take actual criticism, even if it's just a small one. I hear people say, be proud of who you are. You can take it two ways. Don't be upset you aren't a superstar. You have your own strength. It's okay to waste all your income on video games. It's your money. You can decide what you want to do with it. Be proud of your love for hoarding things. It's all about perspective. In the book I'm writing, the 7 deadly sin based on demons will invade the human world. So I did some research regarding the topic and trying to fit things into the demons personally. It's really tempting to rip off other anime, but I try to avoid that. Beelzebub will be another being obsessed with food. I'm sorry, guys. Marmon, the guy based on greed, I think he will be a hoarder. A fat kid who collects video games, comics, and movies. He bribes others by, just like the fat kid in school, with chocolate so you play with him instead of people you have bonded to. But I think it would be hard to fit such a character in because it doesn't fit in the theme of the story or the main character who you are young adults who didn't play a single game or read comics. Yeah, some people can see it as a pride. Some people see it as pride, and they view pride as a bad thing. I guess everyone's supposed to be humble. That's the weird thing about John Hancock. You know, he tells on himself because he's just a humble school teacher, and I have a humble game collection, or whatever he says. But he does not feel himself to be humble when it comes to the gaming and game collection. He takes pride in the game collection. Weird thing about that, though, is he takes pride in a collection that, let's be honest here, mostly has been handed to him. Mostly he did not have to pay for. So it's wrong pride, you know? Silver medal comes to us from Sirbot42. Phasmophobia is really fun. I started playing it the month after it came out. Still play it once in a while. I think I have like 80 plus hours on it. I recently started playing it in VR, and it's a whole new level of terrifying. Maybe it's just me. I scare easily, which is why I love horror games. It's unfortunate that the gold commenter had a bad experience with the creator, still dropping the game because it shows he was mad he was overlooked, not that the game got boring or it is bad. He wanted exposure from his gaming. I get where he's coming from, though. I had a similar experience with Kamaya, which I now call the DSP of the gaming industry. I praised Kamaya's work in English, then he blocked me and made a tweet saying somewhere along the lines of, "Insects do not tweet to me in English." Yeah, I now glee in his moments of failure. It makes me happy when I hear he messed up somehow, like fans getting mad that Bayonetta 3 hasn't come out, but that doesn't mean I'm going to throw away the older games he made. I still like Beautiful Joe. I still am keeping my Beautiful Joe resin statue, games, DVDs, toys, watches, and posters. I'm just not buying anything else Platinum Games or that bitch Kamaya makes. Point is, take it as a valuable lesson. Don't look up to people as heroes, or in this case, praise, especially if you're an adult. You should only look up to people when you're a child, because it's something you grow out of. I remember Bob's Burgers had a theme about this. You'll get disappointment when you find out who they really are. The Phasmo guy, in this case, wanted exposure. Channels with high viewer counts. You were not on that list. If it offended you, don't support the creator anymore. Vote with your wallet, as people say. Don't buy or talk about future games from that guy. You're talking about a Scary Jersey guy who had a very bad experience, with the creator. And you talked about Kamaya, which is the DSP of the gaming industry. I don't know much about Kamaya or his work. But the thing is, whether it's people that make games or movies, or whether it's sports stars or coaches of teams, we sometimes will get lost in praising people for their accomplishments. And it's a lot, when you're a child, it's, I guess you're more susceptible to just reap praise upon, the makers of games or movies or sports stars, especially sports stars. You have the posters of sports stars, in your room or whatnot. You got Jordan, you got, LeBron, you got all these people that maybe you've been inspired by through the years. I think the best thing is to maybe take inspiration from the people and their creations, but not to really think about who they are as a person. Because everyone is inherently flawed as a person. Not everyone's going to be 100% happy with somebody. There's going to be something about somebody that is going to put people off. What I'm saying is, keep it in perspective. And that's one thing I'm trying to do. Keep it in perspective when you look up to people as heroes. And just kind of sit down and realize that regardless of what people have done or what they have created, they're all human. We're all human. And the gold medal comes to us from the Winged Avenger. The reason I watch GTV Japan's videos is that they're some of the most entertaining gaming videos on the internet. The Japanese connection helps him make fascinating content. Other Western gaming channels rarely touch on that because they can't understand a word of Japanese and have little understanding of Japan's gaming culture. For example, I was intrigued that a Choose Your Own Adventure style book was made based on Phantasy Star 3. AVGN and other big channels now put commercials in the middle of their videos, showing just how little they think of their own material. Conversely, GTV episodes contain vintage commercials which, in addition to the high-level editing, make you feel like you're watching a classic TV show. That's beyond beating them at their own game. But what also strikes me is that GTV actually plays by the rules set by the platform he's on. YouTube says you get a portion of the ad revenue from your videos. Simple. You're supposed to either say yes or no to that. But most big channels say neither. So they choose to be in a limbo. They do the YouTube thing, but also use their videos to panhandle, saying, "Pay me if you want more videos." This seems normal to people nowadays, but show an older person an example of these Patreon bums and notice the disbelief on their face. My father recently witnessed this phenomenon on YouTube and he called it a shakedown, which made me laugh. And how is someone supposed to make good content when they've already sold their dignity for a few dollars? Doesn't your personality come across in the work you create? So of course, e-beggars make videos that look like they were made by an e-beggar. They're continually talking about how much they paid for the game, that the game they're discussing just happens to be missing from their collection, or how the box of the game is slightly damaged. Of course, all that is a wink wink, in the hope that one of their gullible viewers will send them the goodies they want. Watching these videos is like having a friend that you like, but who is always, more or less covertly, asking you for money and stuff. You gradually grow more annoyed at that, and realize that the person's money complex is actually ruining their personality. Eventually, you wish you could point a remote control at him and change the channel. Very simple concept. Very simple concept. Many people, for some reason or the other, cannot simply change the channel. GTV Japan is a great example of someone that plays by the rules, Now, this is a person that used to have a Patreon, but they kind of came to a understanding, like many people here, that it was kind of wrong, you know? This is a person that plays by the rules of YouTube. I mean, not currently, because YouTube is now in line with the join with e-begging. And, you know, we call it e-begging to kind of define essentially what it is, right? And many people view it differently than I do. Many people here view it differently than I do, but I don't think it's playing by the rules. And I think you should actually reward channels that play by the rules, which is to not accept one single dollar from their YouTube audience for their hobby uploads, but, you know, work with advertisers to make income, to pull in income for their time spent on their uploads. I have no doubt that GTV Japan puts a lot of time and effort crafting their uploads. And I think that person should be rewarded for their time and their effort crafting those uploads with ad revenue. I think that's very fair. In the same case, similar to GTV, currently, we don't feel like we should be accepting monetary donations for putting what we have into our craft. Now, granted, there are different channels, of course, but the passion is the same. I have passion for talking about things that I feel passionate about. I have passion for responding to great comments and also, you know, triggered people in rad response. But I have formed a lot of this channel through the years from responding to comments and actually praising great writing. And GTV has put years into their channel by praising and also criticizing, you know, video games. So, regardless of what you do on YouTube, think about it how you should be fair. You should play by the rules, basically, you know? Don't overextend. Don't be one of these channels like the MGR crew, like a John Hancock. Don't overextend and reach out and try to get donations from your loyal viewing audience. Don't do that, you know? And if you see that, if you see a channel out there that makes gaming videos and you enjoy the videos, but you know what? They're begging you for money, or they're expecting your donations, then go ahead and think about changing the channel. It's really simple, just like on your remote, just like Cablevision. Just change your channel to a better channel that won't e-beg you for money. And one of those channels you should change it to is GTV Japan.